And how are you doing this evening?
Hey, Torux, man. Thanks, man. Yeah, now I'm doing pretty well. It's been an interesting evening so far, but I'm really looking forward to the last three matches that we have for you guys in store tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it earlier with all the load shedding and everything, and it's made such a titanic task for us to
Yeah.
overcome. But finally, we got Inquisitor managed to get himself his electricity came back, and we're finally here to bring these games to you guys. I mean, I'm really excited to see these last couple of games. If at least we got to get these last couple of games in.
For sure, man. Just to update everyone on the situation going on currently. We South Africa is undergoing currently some load shedding issues with our electricity provisioner Eskom currently undergoing crisis because of various reasons. And what happened was basically that like some of the players and some of the RLX staff has been hit by the power outages, and therefore we had to start the tournament at a later time as well. And therefore the stream is we're gonna basically cut into the last couple of matches that we have. In the description, you guys will see that there is a bracket that you guys can check out to see all the matches that have been played so far. They have been played off stream now, unfortunately. But like I said, we're trying our best here with with the technical difficulties that we are having. That's basically out of our control.
Yeah.
And just besides, like being telco, Eskom having these power outages, we also had one player dislocating his shoulder just after one of the matches. So I mean, Rocket League is a contact sport, I know, but I mean, we didn't expect something like that to happen. And he had to actually be rushed to hospital, but fortunately, they got a replacement, a substitute for them to play. So yeah, I mean, we're steaming, going forward with this tournament, steamrolling, and like I said, we're happy to bring you the last couple of matches with Tarox joining the cast. Tarox was supposed to cast tonight with Gabby G, but unfortunately he's also been hit with a power outage, and his power is only coming on much later. So I'm standing in for him tonight. Well, I'll try my best.
Well, we're definitely honored to have DDF, honestly, the man that has the biggest impact in the Rocket League South African scene itself. And he's brought so many of us together. And I honestly, like, take my hat off to you if I was wearing one, because there's no one else in the scene that is able to just pull so many people together. And every single tournament that comes up, DF is always the first guy to just bring it out into light, to show it to everyone, to post it onto RLX, to post it on everywhere. I mean, it's amazing what this guy does for us. But today, he's nothing but my co-caster. Let's not overhype it right now. Let's get into this game. I'm very excited for this game to get underway and see how well we do have Yopega, actually, who's the guy who did win RLX 6 months. He was we crowned him the man of match, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was one of the MVPs of that tournament as well.
Yeah.
So
So
it's going to be
hopefully he
interesting seeing him
can.
playing.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully he can pull another title under his belt, and it'll be crazy to see
Yeah,
Opega get another big win for him. But I mean,
yeah.
if we were talking about it earlier, Raving Mads, this 2v2 tournament that they're hosting, this is more like a feeler, isn't it?
Yeah. So just to make sure everyone is up to date, so this tournament is presented to you by Raving Mad Gamers. Raving Mad Gamers is also like a gaming organization that tries to host tournaments for various titles. And this is the first Rocket League tournament that they want to host, because like Tyrox, you said, now it's kind of like a feeler. They're trying to test out the scene, see how everything goes, how many people sign up. It's for RLX, who is streaming this tournament specifically. It's a chance for us to see as well how they do things, because what we've teamed up with Raving Mad Gamers, and specifically with their owners, Zathanias, to bring you guys next year, if everything goes according to plan, next year around Feb, we want to start like a bigger tournament where it's going to be an online tournament, but it's going to culminate with the semifinals and the finals being played live at a LAN setting, hopefully at the Arc Gaming Center in Gauteng. If all goes well, we've been speaking about more LANs in South Africa, and seeing that another organization is really keen to be part of Rocket League again shows the growth in SA esports, in Rocket League, and also obviously um, you know making more lands accessible to teams to participate in. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, tonight is just a feeler, it's a fun tournament to get a couple of people playing. It's the end of the year. We don't have many other tournaments running at the moment, so it will be cool to just to give the guys a chance to play in a tournament again.
Definitely, and it also keeps their fingers warm, keeps their brains going. I mean, a lot of the year is spent practicing and getting into the VS gaming mentality where you have to continuously be up and at
Yeah.
it and continuously practicing. But when it gets to the end of the season, a lot of teams they become very quiet, they become very relaxed, they take the time off. But we're starting to see, like you said, I mean, RLX had its 6-man's King of the Hill finals recently, and now we've got Raving Mad Gamers, and it's just so much more constantly. The growth, like you said, is just exponentially larger than what it
Yeah.
was a few months ago, so to speak.
Definitely, and I think we're going to talk more about like how the scene is growing and everything. And I think these conversations just shows again how much positivity there are in Rocket League and in the South African gaming scene. Yes, every gaming community have their ups and downs, and sometimes we wonder are things going in the right direction. But I think these types of tournaments, these other organizations, top organizations like Raving Mad Gamers coming on board, just shows again that the scene is definitely growing. But I want to draw you guys' attention today now to the next match up we have for you guys, which will be Salvage Proficiency versus Dat Elf. So we are running now in the lower bracket. The lower bracket of this tournament, and Salvage Proficiency, they lost in the first round against that Elf actually, but they went down to the lower bracket and they worked their way up, and that Elf lost in the second round of the main bracket, and they also now went to the losers bracket and they worked themselves up, and now they are finding themselves playing each other again. But it's very interesting to note here that these two teams have now replaced one person on their main roster with a substitute because of load shedding and other technical issues. So on Salvage Proficiency, we have Yopigo and Samurai Werty playing as Big Wizard. And on Dat Elf, we have Datkins and Brett playing in the place of Alfio, who has also been fortunately forced to retire due to load shedding. So it's going to be very interesting seeing these teams match up again, but basically with different rosters.
It's very interesting indeed. I mean, it's just going to show a bit of a switch in pace and what have you, because it's going to be a different team altogether. But I'm still 100% sure that the outcomes are going to be just as awesome as before.
Definitely, and now we're waiting for the kickoff, and it's going to be very interesting, like you say, Troy, to see how these teams match up. I mean, on both teams, we have very technically skilled players. I mean, Yopigo, Dread, all of them are playing for big teams in South African Rocket League, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they fare against each other. And I think, remember guys, this is a best of three, so always with best of threes, you don't have that much opportunity to change things. You basically have one game, because you play the first game, you feel each other out, and then basically you have to rectify whatever needs to be changed or tuned up a bit, to get the second result in your favor as well.
Yeah, definitely so. But I mean, let's hop right into this game. We've got, we'll say Elf. I mean, Bread?
Bread.
Elf? Let's just say Bread. So Datkins
Yeah.
and Datkins and Bread having a nice, fun little time. But I mean, Werty quickly taking the ball off of his roof, and very nice pressure being placed by SP right now. And it's puts a, oh, that was a nice little fake. Yopega might be able to sense it in, but not really strong, fast enough. And now the counter attack could be happening. Ooh, Bread, is he going to be able to get it off the wall, pass it down to a teammate? This is a 2v2. I know the RLX 6-mans was a 3v3, and if you're not familiar, it's a very different playstyle, but very nice air drag from Werty himself, and Yopego just snips it through the needle and gets it in, and well done to him. And that is first goal in 3 minutes 38 seconds left.
Very, very good goal there from Salvage Proficiency. Werty with a good air drag. Like I said, that's one of his specialities. He's very technically gifted, so he tries to do those things. And like we see, it doesn't end up in a goal, but it ends up in a very good opportunity, a sitter basically for Yopigo to finish that off. But Brett immediately replying, and that's what I like to see in Rocket League. You get scored on, but you're most vulnerable when you just scored. And Brett making the most of that opportunity to quickly strike back and level up the scores.
Oh, sends a very nice, fast, far shot, and just too much for Werty to get in front of, but very nice, very, very nice pace game so far. I mean, I can't complain any at all. We're not seeing a complete whitewash. Like I heard some games turning very south very quickly for some teams, but this is a 2v2, like I said, so anything could happen at any moment. And Datkins getting some nice space created for his team, but very nicely put up by Werty and Depego. I mean, these guys do play on a team together, so they do have good synergy already. Oh, that was nice double demolition. We almost saw a goal conceded there
Yeah.
because of that. But Datkins he's going to have a no boost play right now. See, maybe he can make something of it, get some more possession, get some more field for his team. I mean, you obviously want to keep a 2-1 lead or a 3-1 lead, but where to get some nice big clear downfield, and it is stopped yet again by Mr. Bread.
I think the one thing that stands out for me as well is, I want to comment on this, is Yopigo's car. He's now playing with a new McLaren car that was introduced as a DLC item in the game that was recently announced at the Game Awards. Oh, and we see, I'll continue later, Warty with a nice goal there, just to put them one in front. And look at Yopigo there with the McLaren, flicking it over Brett a bit. Brett trying to save it, but it ends up, unfortunately, in a pass for Warty, who slots it in the bottom corner and, put him up ahead 2-1 with 2 minutes and a half left.
Very, very nice game so far. I mean, if this is what the standards were for the first couple of games, I'm very excited to see what the finals is going to have for us. I mean, this is a best of 3, so it's not over just yet. And I could very quickly see a comeback or a change of pace, and very nicely played from Werty, just reading that in and just forcing Datkins out to try and predict where the ball's going to go, and just snipping it right past him. What didn't have reaction time to beat that, and very close. Very, very close indeed.
That's the one thing I like about Warty. Like, he's a very attacking, aggressive player, and he has this good intuitive feeling of sometimes just where the ball is going to be, where his teammate's going to pass, and then he follows it up really quickly before you can, as a defender, can even react, and then he just scores a really nice goal. One thing I want to point out, Darius, as well, and we've been seeing this at E-League as well, is more and more teams are starting to try out the alternative cars. Like your Octane is usually like the main car that pro teams use. Now and then a person will use the Dominus or the Batmobile, but I like what Yopigo is really trying here with the McLaren as well. Just a different car, because I think at E-League, we saw a lot of players trying different alternative cars, and it worked really well with them, and it just shakes things up a bit as well. Not to have this kind of like boring kind of Octane dominated pro sphere of type of cars, which and this thing is Rocket League. Every car can perform well. Every car has its strengths and weaknesses if you know how to play with it. I mean, we saw now Scrub Killer playing on Octane for a long time, switching to Batmobile, and he's now back on the Octane again as well. So people make changes with the cars, which is awesome to see. It's not just one car and you stick with that. You change it up, and you can also change it up to fit in a preferred playstyle in a team or with yourself, which is really cool to see.
Definitely so. I mean, there's a plethora of cars to choose from in Rocket League, and they're constantly adding more. I mean, like you said, we just saw the McLaren, which was released a couple of days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see how players already are adapting, but it's also nice to see that the players are also trying new things.
Yes.
Trying the new cars, trying the cars with the plank hitbox and all the hitbox differences and the different playstyles that different cars bring ahead. Like you said, we've seen a lot of Dominus, Octane, Batmobile dominated gameplay, and it's very nice to see that the players are actually looking at trying new cars, trying different styles, trying the different hitboxes, and it starts to show. And I mean, that could be the preference of future players to not actually use Octane for various reasons. And it's a stunning car. Don't get me wrong. I still use the Octane because I just don't find any comfort with any of the other cars yet, but that's just, it could be everyone has a different taste, and that's what makes Rocket League so nice, because even if you prefer to use the Dominus, you can still win games. The car is not the meta.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking about metas, actually, one of the metas that we're seeing currently in Rocket League is which is becoming more prominent. I would say it's been something that a lot of people and players have been doing for a long time. But one thing we see even pro teams doing a lot nowadays is the tactical demoing. South African scene, we know very well that the VXP of old, especially with Papa Capes, they were quite infamous for the demos. And obviously it's a difference between just demoing for the sake of demoing, but I mean, you can use it really tactically to your advantage. There's no rule in Rocket League or in any tournament that says you can't demo. It's something everyone can and is allowed to do. But I think, as we've spoken about before, is you need to demo at the right time, because if you miss a demo, you go for a demo when you're out of position, it can screw up your whole team's rotation. and it gives the other team then an opportunity to capitalize on that. I think that's one thing. I don't know if you agree with me, Tarek, but it's one thing I think we need to keep out in these games, because we've seen it already a couple of times, and I think we're going to see it even more in game 2, how people use the demos to their advantage, especially in 2v2, where it's so easy to take out one person and leave it as a 2v1 situation.
Definitely. But I mean, we are going into game 2 now. SP taking it 3-1. I mean, that's a very comfortable win for them. They're definitely going to be looking to do that in game 2. But like you said, the demo plays, if you can capitalize off of a demo play, you're rotating out, getting a cheeky little demo here. You instantly put pressure on the enemy team, and it's really hard sometimes because you start fearing for what's going to happen. Is he going to turn around? Is he going to start a dribble? It's very hard to change the pace, and to quickly adapt like that is very difficult. But I mean, hopefully we get to see. I'm very excited to see some demo plays.
Definitely, we see now the kickoff. So what do you think did the teams discuss after that first match, Larox? Because I mean, obviously, you know, Datkins them have now one game basically to ensure that they don't go out, you know, in a 2-0. So what do they need to shake up? And what do you think is Yopigo and Warty talking about? Because I mean, do they just keep doing the same thing? Do they need to change it up? What's going to happen here?
Well, to be honest, I've spoken a lot to Werty, and we've had a lot of casual, the privates games together, and a lot of the times Werty doesn't really have a set game set where he just has he's very adaptive to what the teams are like and what he's going up against. But I do know if I could sit in that Discord and chat to them, to Datkins and Bread right now, the first thing I tell them is to try to take more air shots, because clearly, unfortunately, the ground shot's not working in their favor. But ooh, Yopago taking a cheeky early celebration there, and it turns out to not be a goal. It looked like it was in, it felt like it was in, but it wasn't in, unfortunately. But Bread just very nicely done. And like I was saying, if I could sit there and chat to Datkins and to Bread and just tell them that they need to take some more air game, because Datkins, I know, has got some good mechanical skill in air. He loves his freestyling. He loves flicking the ball around, going for those ceiling shots. And I think that's, in the previous game, there wasn't much of that. There was a lot of low ground passes, a lot of passing, or not a lot of passing between the teams. And I mean, I think it's one of the most important tactics, if not better than a ceiling shot.
Yeah, I think you're speaking about Datkins. One thing that I like about Datkins, and I've told him this as well before, is like he's one of the hardest working players. And we go there, Yopigo. Again, the passing play is coming out between Warty and Yopigo. So you see Warty there with a ceiling shot up to the pass, and Yopigo up very quickly. You will see Bread and Datkins grounded. They're waiting for Yopigo to make the plays, and he puts it in a very difficult to save position, and 1-0 to salvage proficiency.
Definitely, and well done. That was a very nice angle to hit, and it was a very difficult angle to hit. To center it right in between those two players was not an easy feat, and hat off to Yopigo again. You can understand why he was the MVP of the RLX 6-mans, and he starts to shine again. And there's a nice little long shot, an unsavable shot, if you want to say that. I
was even going to say unnecessary, but okay. Because like Warty's turning his score, he doesn't need to do that, but still, very nice goal from Warty, bringing out the styles on Datkins then. But I think that just shows again the amount of space that these guys have. Salvage proficiency, they can really like put the pressure on and then have a lot of time. We've seen a double commit there, and yeah, I think at the moment it seems to me like Datkins and Brady just giving too much space to Warty and Yopigo to do what they want. But we see a little nice one putting their back from Datkins, and we just want to see what happens here. So Yopigo actually gets faked out by Datkins, and Datkins quickly up, and he puts it in. And like I said before, Datkins is really hard worker in South Africa. He's worked really hard to be where he's at now. He doesn't even have that many hours, so many of the other similar ranked players in South Africa. But just because he's working hard, playing every day, working on his skill, like he's making a conscious effort to really improve. And that shows. And Flick with a nice little flick. And we are back at 2-2 again, like the previous match. Same score line. Well, equalized with 2.5 minutes.
Definitely so. I mean, you can see a nice little flick from Bread, just reading it out, and Werty just wasn't able to just get high enough to get over that ball. It's so hard to get past someone that can flick a ball properly. It's really hard to get past, and it's very frustrating when you think you have it, but you realize you don't. And that can take into the air there, which I said is just, but he's going to be able to get a third goal. There we go. Well played to DE. They just pulled it back, and they take the lead from the first goal loss, and that must feel good to be able to at a second time around just make your Pago just fall past, and very, very, very excited these guys.
I'm laughing a bit now because it's the second time Datkins has faked someone out, and I would love to chat to Datkins after this and ask him, did he really mean that? Because in a sense, it looks like he just missed, and then it puts the other player off. And because Datkins is really fast, he makes up for his miss, and he just scores quickly, and then it basically turns. It looks like he faked the player out. But well played from him. He's really fast, and you can see, like I said, another goal. Poor two. It's the problem for them was space, right? They were giving too much space to Yopigo and Warte, and you can see now, I think somewhere in the comms, Datkins and Brett just decided, you know what, we're going to go out of this, we're 2-0 down, let's just give it all, let's just play fast, don't give them space, go for every ball, and it's working for them at the moment, 4 goals in succession without a reply. That's really well done.
Yeah, they're definitely putting the pressure on. You can see it now, and I just want to point to the fact that Datkins and Alpha have got a 100% shot percentage, if you want to say it like that. Every shot they've conceded, they've taken a goal, and it shows to the pressure that they've put on. And I think Yopago just needs to, they're not giving this unnecessarily giving away possession, but they need to be mindful of the workhorse Datkins. And as I say that, Yopago just sneaks a nice one in and takes it. I think he took that off of Brett. No. Yeah, it was just Datkins unfortunately not getting the shot on there, and just not getting the touch he wanted. And Yopago capitalizing off of that and bringing it back to 3-4 with a minute and a half left. This is very tight.
Very tight indeed, RX, and I'm glad that we can bring the viewers this first game that's really intense, really close, and a kick-off goal from Brett. One thing that Brett is really good at is his 1v1 skill. He's very good with flicks, and his kickoffs is really solid as well. And I wouldn't even say it doesn't look like Warte or Yopigo is doing anything wrong there. It's just a kickoff in the corner, and he's ready to follow it up again very quick. And they put 2 goals in between them again, and it's going to make it much harder now for Sally's Proficiency to come back from that. But we still have time.
Oh, is this going to be a ceiling shot that we see? Oh, Braden, unfortunately, not getting underneath the ball like he wanted to. But back to that kickoff goals, and it's unfortunately something that no one can really take care of, if we want to say it like that. And Datkins faking out another player, but unfortunately does not turn into a goal this time. And Yopago taking his slow time to try and fake out someone to get the goal. Very cheeky indeed. But coming back to the original point I was actually talking about, the kickoff goals, it's unfortunately is just, we see it in 1v1. In 2v2 it's not as prevalent as in ones, but 2v2 there is still that kickoff goal factor that you need to consider. 3v3 technically you should be getting kickoff goals, but it does still happen, unfortunately, and it does feel just as bad as a 1v1 kickoff goal, to be completely honest.
It does. 1v1 kickoff goals are one of the most frustrating things, but a lot of people don't realize. And I had I had a chat the other day with XD captain Mother, and he explained to me as well, like, a lot of people get frustrated about the 1v1 goals, and then they just concede it, it was luck or whatever. But if you really work on it, 1v1 kickoff is something you can work on to always land in your favor. And you see the teams that really work on kickoff strats in 1s, 2s or 3s, that they can really capitalize on that dead ball situation and immediately start a match with the advantage. So it's a really good skill to have. And as a South African scene, I think we're still far away from mastering the kickoff, but a lot of teams, like I said, Mother and his teams are really working on that. Once you start to get a grip on how to do it, and you do it effectively, you can do it over and over again and mix it up so that, you basically win games just by starting off the match in the advantage of your team, because you do the kickoff in a specific way.
Definitely agree. And DE taking game 2, so this is going down to the wire, the third game. I really have no favorites right now. Both of these teams are playing absolutely brilliantly, and it's great plays all around. And I really can't. I don't have a favorite. I don't want DE to lose, but also don't want SP to lose.
It is very close. It's balanced on a knife edge at the moment, and it's going to be interesting to see. Again, I think here comes. I know it's a tournament and we're having fun as well, but you want to win. Want to win, even if there's nothing on the line. You still want to win. For that honor, for that pride.
There's always bragging rights involved when it comes to a tournament that doesn't have a prize pool. The prize pool is bragging rights. The team that walks away from this says that we are the Raving Mad Gamers 2v2 champions.
Yes. Yes.
There is always a prize, DF, always.
Yeah. And I think, the teams are going to discuss now, what are we going to do going into this next match, how are we going to take it, how are we going to put this in our favor? Because, I mean, it was first South Proficiency one and now DE one, so it's going to be very interesting seeing how this next match goes and which team is going to score the first goal to immediately put the momentum in their favor.
I mean, it's going to be very hard. Yapego seems to be having a bit of a ping problem. He's sitting at unfortunately a 140 ping, so hopefully that can sort himself out. And we've also got a server problem that's hopefully not going to last too long. But very nice kickoff, a very balanced kickoff. But Yapego just capitalizing on the bit of a misplay. But Datkins, the fast and furious, is able to get there before it turns into a goal. Werty just taking it slightly off and trying to center it for his team and slowly. I think it's really hard to say what these guys will be changing up because they had such a tight game last game.
Yeah.
But I think Datkins is honestly doing this for the jokes right now because he's missing more than I've ever seen him miss.
And I think it puts off SB so much because they're expecting something to happen and then it doesn't happen. So it's actually working in his favor at the moment. But we see a nice little air drag there from Brett. Datkins not following it up, just waiting a bit back. And he's capitalizing on Werty not taking control of that ball. That's one thing that Africa we don't see often is teams actually taking control of the ball. Usually a team, you can just watch now, the teams really, they get the ball and then they just put it back. But very nice control there from Brett. As I'm talking about this, it actually, I think this game is at such a level that we can actually see all these little aspects happening in front of our eyes. For a while there, for 50 seconds basically, we saw no one taking control of the ball. It was just a back and forth. And then suddenly, we see they taking control of the ball. Brett flicks it up, goal. Take control of the ball, guys. If you're playing Rocket League, you need to take control of the ball.
But definitely agree with you. And Datkins taking a nice cheeky little shot and capitalizes off of that and gets up into the air. Like I said, Datkins has got a very, very strong mechanical, technical ability that he's so good in his air game that he's really hard to beat. If he's really fast and he's really quick to get up and is hard to beat when he's up in the air. It takes a lot of commitment to get past him. But if Werty and them can keep the game closer to them, like you said, keep the possession, don't just give the ball away willy-nilly and just play the volleyball game where the ball goes your side, ball goes my side. It's not ping pong, it's unfortunately Rocket League. So the whole concept of keeping the ball, like you said, is something that as a whole in SA, a majority of SA players, it's something that we're all working on. It's something that we all need to grasp a little bit better. I mean, we can't talk about RLCS because these are the guys that are the best in the world and they have a good concept of it and they have been practicing it and they spend so much more time than we do in Rocket League itself, just practicing, spending time in training packs, etc. But nice little up in the air from Datkins. Is he going to be able to turn it into a goal? No, but they do have a 2-0 lead, so I'm not too sure if they're going to be stressing too much about over committing for certain goals. And Datkins just pinching it down just past Yapego, but now Werty could possibly get a shot. Ooh, does get a pass out, but not in time for Yapego to take something out of it.
Very fast interception there from Brett. He saw what Werty's going to do and intercepted really quickly. Almost a little bump play there from Werty on Brett, but Brett fortunately not put off too much by that. We see the fake plays coming out from Datkins. That was calculated, but it didn't work this time. A little bit back and forth between, but Datkins putting it nicely to the side. That's one thing I like to see. When your teammate's not back yet, just give yourself some time, either by slowing the ball down, putting it to the side. So very well done from him.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely going to be learning from the plethora of knowledge that DF has to offer. So, ladies and gentlemen, you better be listening because DF doesn't give this advice to anyone. We are very fortunate right now. So, any, bring your notepad, bring a pen, start writing stuff down because or just watch the VOD later on. It's either way, just a lot of knowledge between all of these players right now. It's a lot that you can learn. And Werty's taking a nice little cheeky drag, a nice little, actually good control over the ball there. Yapego just not getting involved, knowing that Werty can turn this into a goal for his team, and he does that just that.
Yeah, no, it definitely it shows again the kind of control that what we expect from these teams at this level to have, because once, like I said, you take control like that. Really well done from Yapego. Look how Yapego takes up the ball here. He doesn't just pass it immediately. He takes it up, rolls it down, and Werty is there to capitalize on that. No one in net, and Datkins so close to bomb down there and save it, but unfortunately it's not the case. And 2-2, with 2 minutes left.
Again, it's in the same. It almost was like deja vu that the teams are so close, that the games are so tight, and there's so little time left. The game's running out. You need to see something change. It's such a fine line between these two teams right now.
Yeah, like you said, definitely a fine line. 2-2. We'll be seeing these low score lines from game one, and I think the team, that's going to just be more consistent than the other team, because I mean we've seen so many opportunities that has not been taken, but this one has been taken by Bread, and that's what I like to see. The opportunities, you need to take them. You don't get them often, and you need to take them. If you want to win games, obviously, if you need to score more goals than the other team and concede less, then you will win. So and Brett there, wonderful play between them. A pass in the corner, he's up very quickly, and they get the edge with 1 minute 20 seconds left.
Definitely, and you can slowly start to see, as we did in the RLX 6-mans, which I mentioned quite a few times, is that these teams that were put together, these 2v2 teams that aren't necessarily actual teams, they don't play for a team together, but you slowly start to see how they just get more comfortable playing around. And like I said, Werty and Yopega are on a team, if I'm not mistaken, so they do know each other, they do know each other's playstyle, so that they have an innate advantage in this game. But you slowly start to see how Bread almost pulls that goal in, almost flicks it in. That would have been a very nice goal. That would have been highlight reel potential right there if he managed to get it in. But nice and almost goal. But I mean, teams are just constantly just taking back and forth in between each other's goals, and that looked like it would have gone in.
Wow. I don't know how that stayed out, but it stayed out. Very well done. I think Brett had the opportunity there to finish the game off, and unfortunately he didn't do it. And I mean, it's now about mental strength. I missed that, but I can still win this for my team. I just need to keep it up for 10 seconds, keep it away from the other team, and then we can do this.
Just center the ball right into the right place, make sure teammates there, and it really is not. But Datkins just taking the last nail and putting it into the coffin. They definitely have secured this win for they've won. This is the lower brackets.
They won. Yeah.
They've won. That's all they needed to do. They needed to win, and now they can sit back and wait to see. Are they playing the next game?
Yeah, and they are going to play the next game as well.
So no rest for them. Datkins, the hard worker, can continue his grind, and he's going to have a few seconds just to catch a breather and get ready for the next game. And very well played to both of these teams, but Datkins and Bread just taking the win in the end.
I think you made a very good point, Torx. The thing is, though, like Brad and Datkins haven't played that much together, but the more they play, every game is almost like that synergy will grow. It will become better. And the first game was a close affair, but SB clinched it. And I think just as they continue playing, Brad and Datkins, the synergy got better, because I think there was one moment specifically that I highlighted the double commit between them. And I don't think after that we saw much of that anymore. And I mean, at this level, the thing is, when you start reaching these champ levels, champ 1, champ 2, champ 3, you're really starting to learn how to quickly adapt and play with teammates that you may have never played before, because you need to do that when you solo queue ranked as well. So well done to Brett and Datkins for beating a very strong opponent in Warty and Yopigo. It was lots of fun to watch this game, and very close, and I hope the next couple of games that we're going to see will also be close affairs like this one.
I'd have to agree with you that the DF, I'm very excited for these next few games. I'm very excited to see the finals, to be completely honest. I want to see the teams that have worked the hardest, that have put the most in, that have actually gone out of their time when they're not playing their 2v2 matches to practice some more 2v2. It's just that the teams that, like you said, the synergy starts building together. They start playing a bit better. They start learning, let's maybe pass back instead of trying to take an air dribble. Let's skip out on the low percentage plays and go for the nice passing plays that look flashy in the end in the replay. And that's what we like to see. That's how we like to see players grow and change, and how they adapt to their situation.
Definitely. So we're going to take a short break just to set up the next match for you guys, to get the next opponents in. So it will be Salvage Proficiency. Dot Elf playing against Fat Dab. So Fat Dab has made a run from the main bracket. They went all the way until the main bracket final, where they played against #Carrot. They unfortunately lost 2-0, but this is a really good team that I'm excited to see. It will be Empty Promises and Fallacy of Fadab versus Dat Elf, which will be Datkins and Brett, coming to you live in a few minutes.
And we'll see you guys then.
You turn toward me and look so weak. I've never seen you with such tired eyes. And everything we said we'd be, we just traded for a suit coat and a tie. Run underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. You're silent, bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. You're silent, bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. Follow me down, there's no one around. Lay back and take your socks and shoes right off. That natural light is so damn polite, can make you feel just like you were young again. Standing underneath the rows of trees, I can see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under our clothes, a fire grows. We are ready for this life of running wild. We're running wild. Underneath the rows of trees, I will see you where the ocean meets the sky. Under your toes, the fire grows. You are ready for a different kind of life. Silent, bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild. Silent, bold, the wind is cold. You must return to the wild.
Fuck up.
Knelt to pray today, but no one was listening anymore. Do I need to fade away or stay here laying down on the floor? I want to know if you be the shoulder that I need. I want to go, so take me to Neverland. Can you help me find a way? Where is the God that I need? Can I get some help today? Lord, help me with the blood that I bleed. I want to know if you be the shoulder.
Just saw a fantastic game. Absolutely stunning plays and very, very close games, to be completely honest. I am joined again by Mr. DF, the highest tier, I don't know, organizer, if I want to say. I can't put a crown. You can't put a single word to what DF does. But anyway, we are here back for the second game for the first game of FD and DE, but the second game on stream that DE we're going to be playing. I mean, I'm very excited to see how Datkins and his teammate do. There's Datkins and Braid, my bad. But I'm very excited to see what Phallus and Empty Promises can do for the side of FD. See, maybe they can pull out a bit of a tougher game for Datkins and Braid to do. Maybe it can be a complete sweep for the side of DE. Maybe FD will have a complete sweep. I don't know. There's literally no telling what can happen. It is 2v2. So there's no guarantee that either team is going to win right now, but I'm very excited, and I'm pretty sure you are too, DF.
Me, yeah, definitely, Dorex. I think this matchup is going to be really a good one for the viewers because, like we've been saying, the confidence and the synergy between Datkins and Brett has been growing since the last two matches that I've played in the previous game. We got empty promises though in Fallacy here, who are very highly ranked players, very highly skilled players in South Africa. I've played, with and against both of them, and I've got to say, if we go purely on paper, I would say that FD would be the favorite here. Fellas and Empty Promises. I mean, they've been playing together for a while as well. They know each other, and like I said, they're very good playing well together. But the thing is, though, Datkins and Brett, I think it might go in the favor of FD, but it might be a little bit of an upset here because, like we say, when the momentum gets to Datkins and Brett, they are very difficult to stop.
Definitely agree. I'm very excited to see how these guys are going to be doing. It's not going to be an easy game for either side. FD, like you said, Empty Promises and Phyllis, they have played a lot together. And knowing from playing with and against Empty, he's such a strong and aggressive player that it really takes a lot. And you really need to be careful because if you give Empty the space, he will score.
Definitely. I think we spoke about the previous game as well, how teams need to take the opportunities. And I think Empty Promises and Fallacy are one of those teams that when the opportunity is presented to them, they take it. But it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. We see a kickoff. It goes 50-50 down the middle, up into the roof. And immediately FD on the front foot here. And Brett missing a easy ball, maybe too easy, maybe a bit of a lag there. And we see Brett trying to control it there. That is one thing that's going to be interesting as well, Dyrox, is what we spoke about in the previous game is can the teams control it? In twos, it's very important to control the ball because if you just boom it back to your teammate or to the opponent, that means you've lost possession and that the momentum is on the other team's side.
Definitely agree, but I mean, like I said, Empty, he gets the space, he'll score, and oh, there's a nice pinch shot. That is going to be a goal for the side of DE, and as we said, you give the space, and they didn't give him space. They pressured him, they put him so much pressure, and unfortunately, that's something, one of those things, those long goals that just come off for clear, is something that will always happen in 2v2.
I'm surprised no one has spammed calculated in chat.
Or what a save yet, yeah.
But yeah, we see again a kickoff that goes in putting the ball back into the blue team's half. Brett is one player that's usually really good on the backboard, but unfortunately this time, maybe maybe was put off by his teammate, Empty Promises, and he missed that one. And Datkins, I think, is going for boost because he's expecting Brett to make that clear, and opportunity presented itself to Fallacy to make it 1-1.
I mean, like I said before, you give these guys the space, they're going to score. It's very hard to get past them. And look at Empty, he's so fast. He gets that ball before you think you're going to make it. You think you're going to make it. I mean, even against Datkins, who we said is the speed demon, the guy that goes fast and furious. And Empty, I really think, puts up a very close fight between the two.
Definitely. I think, again, a kickoff, it goes kind of like 50-50, but Empty seeing it first and reacting first to it. And, for being 1-0 down, they quickly shift the momentum in their favor. And Brett, again, we've seen a couple of flicks from him, and a nice follow-up there by Datkins. And we see Brett there, again the flicks from him is so good, so powerful, control. He takes control, flicks it up, Datkins immediately reacting to that. There's no chance Empty Promise is going to get that before Datkins. And they tie up the score 2-2, a very exciting game here after just 1 minute of play.
I mean, crazy. There's just been shots back and forth, 2 goals for each side. It's very, very close, but there's just not necessarily open nets, but they're just taking every chance they can, and almost every chance they've taken has led to a goal, which is... It's stunning to see that these players are at that caliber to just quickly take advantage of the opportunity that they're given.
Yeah, that's true. And we see now Brett literally passing to himself there. Datkins getting involved in the play. But again, now it's going to be interesting. Empty has lots of space. Fallacy going for boost, and Empty. I was thinking that Empty is going to take control there and Fallacy going maybe for a bump. It didn't happen. Quick challenge there from Brett. Datkins up really quickly. Unfortunately misses, and now it's open goals. And Empty missing. Fallacy is there, but he couldn't capitalize on that. But the pressure is still not off the team of blue. Empty Promises going with... Oh! That's so unfortunate, though. Empty Promises doing really well there to keep control of the ball in the air. And Datkins trying to save and challenge this. But unfortunately, this happens sometimes. We see it in football all the time. You try to just hit that ball out of danger. And unfortunately, a slight deflection. And you score one of the greatest redirects of all time. But unfortunately, it's an own goal.
It is really unfortunate, but very nicely done from MT. He's got that control. He's got that technical knowledge to just hold the ball there and just force out an error from the enemy side. But look at that, just absolutely just goes to show how strong these guys actually are. And Datkins almost getting that flip, the ceiling shot actually with a flip reset. But well,
Whoops. That's so unfortunate though. So we can clearly see the intention here of Brett. Like he's expecting Datkins to be back. Maybe Datkins said I'm back, but Datkins probably meant, you know, I'm getting back boost. He's passing back, and it's so powerful of a pass that unfortunately results in an own goal. But you know, we still have 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. We're not even halfway through the game, or to the game yet. So more than enough time for Brett and Datkins to come back from that. It's just unfortunate mistakes. If they cut that out, you know, they will be back in it easy.
and I do know that these players are quite tilt-proof, if you want to say it like that. So they won't really be upset about a risky back pass that unfortunately is an own goal. That really doesn't really phase these players that much. They've had it so many times where that happens. So you start to grow a thick skin when it comes to things like that. And I'm very excited to see what FD can do. If they can pull this lead any further, they could close this game for them. I mean, MT almost. There was a bump play from Palliser there, and almost made a very nice turn into a goal, but just not the right angle at the moment.
Unfortunately, very close one. I like the passing plays also coming out between MT and Palliser. A lot of times in twos, the passing plays are quite risky because you put one player basically, if something goes wrong, there's no one back. But so far, it's been working for them.
Definitely so. And like you said, it's risky. It's not always the best idea to try and go for that pass, but it is sometimes a better idea to go for a pass. It all comes down to your game sense and to how well you know where your teammate is and how well your synergy between your teammates are. And you can very, very easily see that MT and Palliser are so comfortable playing with each other in Rocket League that they just really they don't have to worry. They don't have to watch their backs. They just make the call.
Oof, and a nice little flick there from Palliser. Like you will see he has 4 boosts left here, but still enough momentum to get to the ball first. And he doesn't need to score here actually, he just needs to get it past Datkins. And you know, because it's against the back wall, so even if he missed, you know, his teammate would have been there to follow up and score. So, you know, well done.
Definitely agreed. And 5-2 is the score now. We do have only a minute left, and FD have taken a commanding lead in the first game. I think I really can't say that FD have taken the series. Anything could still happen. I mean, there was an own goal, so you have to give that to Alf. Unfortunately, Braid, sorry, he unfortunately did get that conceded own goal, but really is not a given to anyone right now.
For sure, and I think as we spoke about, like maybe one thing Datkins and Brady's doing, like they are using this first game, you know, to check out the other team, to see how they should play. And then, you know, just things going forward, you know, from game 2.
Yeah, definitely so. But I mean, you also, like you were saying earlier, the bumping plays, the demos. Palliser went for a cheeky bump there, and Brad was smart or fortunate enough to read it in time and was not able to. Palliser was not able to demo him. But that's the where these players are at. That's what they're doing. And Palliser just sneaky gets that shot off from MT, who rightfully deserves that goal, but we'll give it to Palliser anyway. I think that was a pass. No, not really. That was supposed to be a goal, making sure it goes in.
And with 13 seconds left, I mean, this game is done and dusted. But really, what you can use these 10 seconds for is just to regroup yourself, maybe try and score a goal, just to get the momentum on your side before going to the next game. And we see, a nice little play there from Palliser on the countdown from 10 seconds, taking up the wall by himself, getting the 100 boost. And you can see with the Batmobile, easy to get off the wall and start a nice little air dribble. But it seems almost Datkins coming in there, maybe even touching the ball. But I would say Palliser had that as well. So,
yeah.
But good plays all around.
Datkins just, he knows this game he knows this game's in the bag for FD, and they're just having fun right now. I mean, these guys are all, like I said, almost 100% tilt proof. I wouldn't say completely tilt proof, and these guys are just having fun. I mean, this is what it's all about. There's no prize pool besides bragging rights right now, so they can very just merrily have some ceiling shots, have another own goal, and this game 1 is in the bag for FD. So but DE, I'm sure that the DE are going to be looking to game 2 to just change up a bit of their play style. They had a lot of shots on. There was not that many goals conceded that from those shots, but they did still have the shots on. It's just MT and Falliser had they found their goals. They found the back of the net more often than DE did, unfortunately, and that's how you win in Rocket League.
5 more times to be exact. I think DE, unfortunately, what killed the momentum a little bit there was that 2 unfortunate own goals that they scored to give the lead 4-2 to FD. But I think, going into this game, I'm expecting a response from Datkins and Alf. From Datkins and Brett. I know Datkins is a really competitive guy. He likes to win, he enjoys winning. So I'm for sure he's gonna go even faster and harder. And hopefully that doesn't result, in his team or him, tilting or resulting in ball chasing. But it's gonna be interesting. I'm expecting a response, and hopefully it's a positive one.
100% agree. And let's see, this is game 2 and it has just started, and unfortunately Datkins not getting the pinch he wanted off of the wall to clear the ball out of danger, and MT capitalizing very quickly off that. He's very fast, he sees, and unfortunately he saw that there was not the pinch that Datkins wanted. It's unfortunate that it's so hard to be extremely consistent with those pinches.
And that's the unfortunate thing in twos, right? If you make one mistake, then that usually means the other team has an opportunity to score. And in that instance, Datkins, we can see his intention there. Maybe taking up the wall would have been better, but it's easier to say when things already happened. So, we saw his intention. Unfortunately, didn't work out, and taking advantage was FD scoring that. But Datkins against playing it, straight to the opposition. I think what we saw in the previous game, previous matchup between them and South Proficiency was some passing plays. So hopefully they can find each other with some nice passes, just to get a few goals. And as I say that, passing plays, Brett says, I can do it on my own. And again, Datkins fast, empty promises. Brett gets the boost, and he just slots it into the goal. 1.
I mean, he sees the space, he sees that he's not going to be contested for that ball, so he just takes a nice cheeky little shot on and puts it in the top, which was very hard for MT to get to.
For sure. And 1-1 for 4 minutes left. It's a lot of time for both teams to still do something here. I think the one thing is, again, like I said, Datkins is going to play real fast, and that worked for them. Datkins is also very aggressive, like we saw there now. He likes to demo, likes to let a little put the momentum in your favor with an unconventional sort of play. Unfortunately, though, Brett there, water saving himself. Brett really usually very good on defense. This is just a slight mistake. These things happen. What Falliser does well here, he doesn't hit it directly to Brett. He hits it with a slight little bounce, and it just makes it a bit uncomfortable for Brett, who's in an uncomfortable position to save that, and 2-1.
And definitely so. Just a slight mistake in conceding a goal, but look at that, another kick-off goal, and FD look like they're taking a bit of a commanding lead early on in the second game.
I gotta say that, Datkins really tried, and he got bombarded with 2 people going for that ball, which, worked out in their favor. So, in a sense, blue team, are a bit unlucky at this point in time with that sort of goals, and maybe they need a bit of luck. Datkins there with a bump. Is Brett there for the follow-up? Unfortunately, Brett went back to gate boost. Datkins with a really nice play there, getting the kickoff. Well done, and then also a nice little bump on the opposition, but unfortunately, Brett not there to capitalize on that.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, that's what they need to do. You can see now that worked. They weren't expecting the bump from Datkins, and that's how they need to do in the future. But Brett, unfortunately, not being able to just, that speedy ball coming right at him, not able to take a shot on and get a good passing play back to Datkins. But Falliser takes a nice boomer shot onto the goal, and it's just, there was not enough time for the blue team to rotate back.
Definitely. I think the one thing is what Brett just needs to do is he just needs to relax now. These things happen. I've been there as well. You miss the ball. Maybe by going a little bit fast, being in the sense of I need to go because we need to score 2 goals to tie it up. And, then you miss sometimes. And unfortunately now, again, they're missing a couple of balls. They're 4 goals down. But, in Rocket League, it's never over until it's over. So more than enough time, for them to come back. It's just these small little misses that they are currently experiencing. And, if they can just, work past that, make connection with the ball, just go back to basics again, take control of the ball, pass it to your teammate, making sure that you get the saves in, hitting the ball, with power like that, create opportunities for yourself. That's what they need to do.
100% agree. And Bread, unfortunately, is staying for the double commit, staying too long, and Datkins trying to take the shot off of Bread's roof to put it into the goal, but unfortunately not enough. And Falliser with a nice play. Ooh, Datkins, unfortunately, he's the Falliser just took a very, very fast shot on, and it was actually extremely fast. Very hard to read those.
We are experiencing perhaps some technical difficulties here. I'm not sure, but Brett just. So Datkins left. Brett then thought maybe Datkins' power went off or something, and then he quit. But Datkins is back, so we're going to continue with the game. Unfortunately, Rocket League, the rules say, if you started the game and it's past the 1 minute mark and a goal has been scored, then unfortunately you can't restart. So I guess, being 5 goals down, 6-1, with one player, there's no comeback from this. So we'll just see it out for the next, 2 minutes.
Unfortunately, it might just be a technical problem. And might have just been a change of car. I'm not too sure. We're not sitting in the comms with the Atkins right now, but it looks like 2 minutes left, 7-1. A very guaranteed win for FD right now.
Oh, and Brett just joined the party again, so we might see him coming to the game now any moment. It's going to be quite a shock for him to walk into a match that's you're 7 goals behind. There's really no comeback from this, but the professional sportsmen that they're going to see this out. Just make sure that they give the viewers also what they deserve, and that's a complete match.
100% agree. That's what we're here to watch. It's what we're here to cast. It's a full game of Rocket League, but Brett almost reading it off the touch there, and very close from Datkins. Just this third player is not on their side right now.
Unfortunate double commit there as well. I think we don't have to say too much anymore about this. How the current last 1 minute and a half are going, because it's over. People are now just gonna play for the memes and stuff. What I want to focus on again is how good FD actually played this match. They really, when they went a goal down in game 1, and a goal down in game 2, they quickly, recovered from that, quickly replying as well. Like I said in our very first match that we cast tonight, you're most vulnerable when you just scored. So, if the other team scores, they're very excited, and then it's your time to strike back immediately with a nice little kickoff goal or just a nice little pass, put down the pressure and get yourself back into the game.
100% agree, and it's those type of plays that you not only do you put the enemy team that just scored and you all of a sudden get an equalizer. It doesn't just mean an equalizer. It means that the team that you're going up against knows that they can't just casually sit back. They can't give you a moment to relax. They can't relax at all, because you will get another goal for your side, and they will have to unfortunately concede another one, and that's not what you want to do. No one wants to lose a game of Rocket League. It's just the type of game it is. You never want to play your heart out and lose. It's just unfortunately how it works. But the teams that can capitalize off of an early conceded goal, that can quickly turn around and get another goal, can very quickly change the mindset. Brett getting a very cheeky dribble there.
Brett saying, you know what, it's over, but I'll still try something fancy. Good fake there, and Datkins doing well as well to put some pressure on him. But you're definitely right, Doris. I think watching these games, it again shows you that even though these teams might be very close in terms of skill as well, and I don't think an 8-2 gives the full picture as well. Oh, we're seeing that. I know what Falliser was going for there. He was going for the ceiling shot, and he wanted to get a flip reset off that. Let's look at this again. Nice turn of the Batmobile. Here he goes for this flip reset.
Oh, he didn't get the flip reset.
Unfortunate. And these things happen as well, where you try something and you think you get a flip reset, and unfortunately it doesn't, because in South Africa, getting a flip reset and actually scoring, is everyone's dream as well. But yeah, well done to FD, to MD Promises and Falliser. They definitely show that they were the better team tonight. But I think we need to give a good shout out as well to Red and Datkins. They came far in this tournament. They did really well. I think they really improved as the games went on. And all the best for them, in the next tournament as well, whether they were playing as a team or, with other teammates as well. So all good fun.
I definitely have to agree with you. FT playing very well. You can show that they show that they have so much confidence as players and as teammates. And unfortunately, Bread and Datkins they didn't really have. They had so many shots that went off the sidewall, and it's just not what they wanted, not the start that they wanted. And the more that they tried, the more that they double committed, the more that FT just took advantage of it and found an open net and an undefended net, and unfortunately ended up in a considerable score difference. But can't take away from any of these teams. They played absolutely brilliant. DE tried, they fought so hard, they never gave up until the end, and FD just comfortably and methodically took away at DE until it was enough to win.
Yeah, for sure. It was a very, like you say, methodically, I think is the right word there. Like they did all the small things right. They used their chances, and at the end of the day, they have the result to show for it as well. But we are going to move on. We are now done with this match, which means the winner bracket of the loser bracket finals was won now by FD. So they will be playing in the grand finals. They will be playing hashtag Garrett versus Mr. Low and Snowy.
You are ruthless. Yeah, you don't give a damn about what I do. You think you're the coolest. Who would ever wanna be like you? You left my heart in pain. Yeah, you don't have to admit it now. You want me to stay, but I can barely use it now. You left my heart in pain. You want me to stay, yeah, but I can barely use it now. You left my heart in pain. You leave a highlight, limousines through your fantasies. I never knew it, but you were my lifeline. You got me drowning in the sea. You left my heart in pain. Yeah, you don't have to admit it now. You want me to stay, but I can barely use it now. You left my heart in pain. You want me to stay, yeah, but I can barely use it now. You left my heart in pain. You want me to stay, yeah, but I can barely use it now. You left my heart in pain. On this journey we will find our souls begin to intertwine. Your heart of gold, so pure, divine, and I lost myself within the fire, breaking free from my desire. A heart of gold forged to inspire. It's Starfire. It's Starfire. On this journey we will find our souls begin to intertwine. Your heart of gold, so pure, divine, and I lost myself within the fire, breaking free from my desire. A heart of gold, forged to inspire. It's Starfire. It's Starfire. Ain't no love like a real love, but it goes so fast. All tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to pay on my life, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I don't felt this in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the finals. I am joined by Mr. DF himself. We are casting the Raving Mad Gamers 2v2 tournament finals. Yes, that is a huge amount to say at the same time. But DF, how are you? I mean, we got a 2-second break in between these games. I mean, we just saw a dominating play actually from FD in the previous game. And I mean, we saw tensions rise. We saw MC and Falla said they played very well together, and we honestly thought that they were on a team, but it turns out they're not. So apologies from our side, but they technically are on a team, so we aren't technically wrong.
True. No, I'm very excited for this match. Dyrox. I think it's been the games tonight has been of a very high level. I think what's really stands out to me of tonight's games is that we could actually look at the games and point out both negatives and positives about the games. And I hope the people watching, look at this and, especially the lower rank guys, look at these streams, look at what the guys are doing right and what they're doing wrong, and you can learn from that. And you can learn from, hopefully, from us casting this and seeing how they play as well, to make a couple of notes. But this match, I think it's going to be interesting. For me personally, whenever Snowy is in a team, you want to root for that team, or you think that team's gonna win, right? Because Snowy is arguably, and I don't think there's many people that will disagree with me. He's currently the best player in South Africa, whether it be ones, twos, or threes. He's teaming up with Mr. Low tonight, and they were a last-minute entry, and they've been sweeping everyone in front of them. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they face up against a team that they already faced in the tournament before. So Fada played them earlier, and it was a 2-0 in favor of #Carried. But Falliser and Empty Promises said that they learned and growed into these games. So it's going to be interesting, seeing how after playing those games, how they are going to learn from that and take it into this game, because this is going to be a very difficult mountain for them to climb.
Definitely. So FD, they have a big task ahead of them, but it is a best of 5, DF. So it's not decided in 2 games. We definitely have to see 3 games. And like we say in the beginning, it could turn either way. We do know, like you said, Snowy is almost agreeably one of the best players in South Africa, if not the best player in South Africa. We've seen a lot of Low, he's also such a stunning player, and he has such smooth movements, and it's such a great player. But also on the flip of that coin, we have Fallis, and we've got M2, who I said previously, he's such a powerful attacking player, and this is really anyone's game right now.
And we see the kickoff there. Snowy, quite famous for his very strong kickoffs. Him and Loa have been playing, like casual games and private games, and especially ranked games as well before. So they also know each other. So it's 2 teams that knows each other and themselves, like their partners, relatively well in the playstyle. So it's going to be interesting to see and look out for this. One thing that I will point out that I think we will be seeing, and for the players to look out, is Snowy's ball control. He doesn't give the ball away very easily. So he's going to keep control, and then he's going to try and make something with that ball, whether he has 1 boost or 100 boost. So it's going to be interesting to look at that.
Definitely. Oh, but that was so close. Empty taking the bump, but Mr. Low just recovering in time to make sure that is not a goal, and very well done. And you get to see how quick the pace of this game has just picked up all of a sudden. These players are just really fast. I mean, this shows to the skill level of these players, and they're really fast in the air. They're very quick to get up. They're very quick to take the shot on goal, and very seldomly does the shot that they take miss.
Ooh, I'm not sure that the Fallis' teammate was expecting that kind of pass. It was a really good pass from Fallis. Empty Promises went up, kind of like pre-jumping that. If you maybe went on the ground, that could have been actually making something of the opportunity, but that opportunity now not going their way, and immediately we see Low taking to the side, getting his 100 boost and trying to go up with the play again, and we will see Snowy really fast there, getting the play to Mr. Low, Low passing to Snowy, Snowy unfortunately just narrowly missing that, but good defense so far from both teams.
Very, very nice defense from both teams. It is only 3 minutes 22 left to go, so we haven't seen much of this game, but still these teams are technically very, very sound in their defense, very strong in their offense, and it's not going to be an easy goal to score.
Definitely not. Just to point out as well for the people that do not know, so Empty Promises and Falliser are relatively new players in the scene, although they're very highly ranked players. Snowy and Mr. Low are more established, also relatively actually new in a sense that although they have a couple of hours in the game, they've also only been part of the scene for like, a year or so now. Snowy, of course, is playing for XT Gaming, which are the current VS Gaming champions, while Mr. Low is playing for WSG, who at the VS Gaming LAN, they came second where they lost to XT in the final. So it's interesting to see, 2 players that are of a really high quality and high caliber, being in the same team, playing against a young up-and-coming team who are very eager, to show the world that, we can take the game to these established players like Low and Snowy.
Definitely so, but I mean, look at this, the back and forth, the power struggle right now to see who can get that opening goal, and Falliser is going to take it, for FD, Fat Dab get the first goal in this best of 5 finals. Very exciting, very nicely played by Falliser. Nice control, just not letting the ball go too far ahead, not celebrating early, making sure that ball goes in. You can't afford to not score.
Yes, Snowy, making a mistake there as well. Unfortunately, so we tried to finish the ball, and unfortunately, it ended up in a pass and Low not back yet to take advantage of that. And Falliser, very quick and 1-0 to them. And like we said in our previous analysis as well, the Fat Dab are a team that likes to take the opportunities. If they get one, they're going to score. So Snowy and Low must not think this is going to be an easy match, and they got to really bring the game as well to Fat Dab, because Fat Dab is currently taking the game to them.
No, definitely so. And hashtag carried, not really having a tough game. I mean, definitely so. They are 1 behind, but there is only a minute and a half left for game 1. And like I said, this is a best of 5, so the Fat Laddie has not sung until that last game was played and the 3rd point is given. So it could very, very quickly turn. And we, like you said in the beginning, in the previous couple of games, that the first game is normally like a feeler for the teams. The teams start feeling each other out. They start seeing, how does he like to pass? How does he like to take a shot? Does he play very aggressively? How quickly is he up into the air? And from there on, you see how the game's mold. And very nice shot from Snowy, very controlled play. And this is what we see. This is just Snowy things, I want to say.
Yeah, because you're speaking about control. What Low did there was really smart. Like, instead of just banging that ball first touch against the back wall, he first took he passed it to himself against the back wall, and then only went to do the pass to Snowy, and Snowy ready in position, up quickly, and they tie up the game with about a minute left to go.
It's going to be a very tough minute for both teams. And like you said, you can't give Empty the space, you can't give Low, you can't give Snowy, and you can't give Falla the space. It's really a tough game for all teams right now. And
what a save!
Putting a boomer onto the net, and unfortunately it was not. Low was there, he was ready to go, and he was able to just make sure that save is for his team.
What a shot as well, but yeah, what a save. And say fellas, going on to net, and Low missing there, and I think Low was missing, and I don't think Falliser expected that miss. Snowy going to the pass now to Low. Low backing out a little bit there because he sees Empty Promises is up. And the base, we see 2 demos in quick succession. So will Snowy be able to capitalize on this? But his teammate's not back yet, so he's going to have to do this all on his own. He's passing. Low is coming in, but Falliser immediately there to snuff out the danger.
Oh, and that is an overtime. The first overtime we've actually seen on stream, BF. This is very exciting. Very exciting to see how this overtime is going to turn. And we haven't seen the potential of a quick kickoff goal. As I say that, there was a Snowy shot and a very nice placement from Snowy right there. Perfectly put that in at a high speed. Just gets a hook shot on that and just sends it straight into the top, knowing that Empty can't get to that. It's just so fast to get to.
That is probably one of the most fearsome things to see, scary things to see, is when Snowy has space with the ball bouncing up a little bit for him to take it on the rise and shoot on goal, because his placement and his power are top notch when it comes to opportunities like that, where you're going to either have to pre-jump or you're going to have to kill it there in the midfield. And what we saw there was both Falliser and Empty Promises waiting for Snowy to make the play, and I don't think that was the right decision to make, because against lower level people, you can wait for them to make the shot, because usually their placement or their power are not that accurate. But with Snowy, who is a grand champ in all of the play modes, you can't take that chance. When he gets the ball, you need to be on him, you need to challenge him and make sure that he doesn't get the opportunity to have his time with the ball, because when you have time with the ball, he's going to dribble, he's going to flick you, he's going to shoot, and then it's going to be a lot of problems for you.
I have to agree with you there, Dave. It's just Snowy he's such an exceptionally good player, and not to take away from any of the other players, but looking at Snowy as a player himself, he's such a strong player, such a powerful player. He's very, very accurate. A lot more accurate than I'd like to admit, but he's extremely accurate with his shots. He very seldomly he doesn't have wayward passes or wayward shots going here and there. Of course he has, unfortunately, a miss maybe here or a miss there, but we all have that. Even grand champs get those problems, so it's not something to feel bad about. It's crazy to see how consistently good he is.
That's true. I think one thing that Fat Dab can take out of the first game is that they can actually match on the current level of play, they can match them, which they are currently doing as well, with Fallacer scoring a nice goal in the first 7 seconds of gameplay.
No, but Fat Dab going with a very quick start and empty, faking that shot out, knowing that there was going to be a little bit of follow-up from Mr. Lone, faking it out, knowing that Fallas is on his 6 and is ready to take it.
Very good start here from Fadab as well, putting the pressure immediately. Looking at players like Snowy and Low, the pressure is on them to win. People expect them to win. Most people will expect them to win. And Snowy immediately replying there. Again, within 10 seconds they reply. And this is what we're speaking about. It's like it's a theme of this tournament. You're most vulnerable when you just scored. I know that is quite unfortunate. You're going in for the challenge with another player, and he demos you as well. So they got to take it on the chin and move forward.
I mean, definitely, it also comes to show the speed that Snowy plays. That Fallas was just trying to line up and get the clear out, get in the right position for the clear. But Snowy was right there, ready to go. And just like I said, shows to the speed of how quickly he gets into position, how quickly he gets to his angles. And empty. Wow, that was very fast and very nicely read by Mr. Low to not get caught off and not get scored on.
Definitely, and a nice little double commit, which results in a good pinch for Fadab, and it's a shot, looks like it's on goal, almost on goal. Snowy there to rescue the day. One thing that Snowy does well is that even with like little boost, he makes very calculated plays. He's in the right position, just enough boost, to make whatever play he needs to make. And that's one thing a lot of people don't do, is like they always want to get the 100 boost and go for, a sweet play or, a good save or anything like that. But you don't need that much boost to actually do this. Oh, what a save from Fallacer.
Unfortunately not being able to get the follow-up save, but such a nice read from Fallacer to able. That was a very fast shot. Fallacer reading that, he gets the bump off of the goal and not able to just air roll right into the ball for the second save, but very nicely done. The scoreline really does not dictate the actual pace of this game and the actual close of the quality that this game is.
It's a very high quality game. It is now going a bit back and forth, with FD taking that first, getting the first goal, and Snowy there with a nice little pinch off the opponent, for it to go in. You see Snowy following it up very quickly. Oh, it gets it past him, but a slight touch there from Empty Promises helps the ball into the net. Unfortunate, but it's still early days. 1.5 minutes gone, 2 goals down. Definitely still room for comeback from Empty Promises and Fallacer. But the big thing is, how are they going to react to this? Because if they're going to get sloppy with their position, trying to force plays, then it's not going to work for them. They need to just play a calculated, controlled style of play, in my opinion, to be able to bring this back.
And like we saw in the first game, they had the methodical plays, they had the space, they created the pressure, and that's exactly what they need to keep doing. You can't give Snowy. We said you can't give Empty, but you really cannot give Snowy space. He will take a shot and he will make it extremely difficult to save. Or he'll pass it to Low, who will just take a nice little shot on goal. And it's really hard for both. It's really hard for these teams to not make mistakes, because they know they will. The pressure is on them. Like you said, they can't make mistakes. They will concede a goal if they make a mistake. This is where we are in this grand finals.
And Snowy, they're trying to fake him out. He gets a nice little going for the air drag. Low up for this after the backboard pass of Snowy, but Fallacer getting a nice clear, and it's actually a pass to his teammate, but Empty Promises getting beaten there by Snowy. And Snowy again putting the pressure. He's very good at his 50-50 challenges, wherever it might be. And what a save there from Fallacer, coming out after a nice shot from Mr. Low. And immediately they're on the counter attack 2v1 here, but Low is back. Then unfortunately Fallacer, he's no boost, so he can't make that play. And just like that, Snowy and team are back with the momentum.
Definitely so, but Fallacer is just sitting on the backboard, knowing that it's a dangerous place to just let the ball freely run wild. And like you said, Fallacer running out of boost there, and like Empty would say, he's got negative beans, and he's very, very close. You can see how these teams can't just go get 100 boosts whenever they want to. They have to keep the pressure on.
Definitely, and nice play there from Fallacer and Empty Promises finding each other with cross-field passes, and that actually results in a nice little pass there to his teammate, but unfortunately for them, Snowy is there to quickly stop that attack dead in its tracks, and Fallacer and Empty Promises trying to recuperate from that and trying again to put one in, because they need 2 goals and they have about 1 minute left to do so.
Definitely so, but you can see the pressures on the attacks are there. Oh, very nicely cleared from Snowy. Just reading it past Mr. Low himself, and Snowy almost getting the touch on that. Very nice, close redirect. And it's very, very tough game for both of these teams.
You could say that Mr. Low, like, he could have gone for goal there, but Valis and Anti-Promises was positioned in such a way that at this level they would have saved that. So he went for the pass to Snowy. Unfortunately, I think ran out of boost to go for that. But Snowy put this one down. He can't, unfortunately. So close. Didn't have enough boost as well to maybe get the flight and height that he wanted there. And a nice down pass there from Anti-Promises to Valis. But again, Snowy being a beast in defense there as well, just making sure that that attack doesn't materialize.
This, I mean, just goes to show how strong these players are, but that is an open net. Can MT capitalize on it? Very, very tough play for Low to get there, and he actually does make it and does not allow MT a single piece of space. It does not allow for even the last glimmer of hope securing that win. And I mean, I safely say that this is hashtag carries game 2.
Yeah, indeed. Well, it was a close one there from Empty Promises. So that's a thing when you know you're going to lose the game. Like maybe it's like 10 seconds left and you need 4 goals, something like that. Still play it out, because I mean you're going to your next game, so maybe just get the momentum on your side, and that's what I think what FD try to do there. You know, still keep the pressure. You know, in the last couple of seconds. You know, just to keep the momentum on their side as well, because you know they have been starting the last 2 games. You know, with the momentum. So if they can, you know, just keep being consistent in the entire 5 minutes, I definitely do see them taking game 3. But it's going to be tough because hashtag carried are in the lead currently. They need one more game to win the Raving Mad Gamers and RLX 2v2 tournament. Who's it going to be? Hashtag carried, or will we see FD making a reverse sweep comeback here to take this tournament?
Well, DF, I think it is time for game number 3 for hashtag carry to see if they can win this grand final, or to see if Fat Dabs can turn around and actually bring back a good game for them, and maybe potentially another game. This is a best of 5, and this is game 3 of the best of 5. So we are slowly narrowing down to, we're actually at the final games of this evening for the Raving Mad Gamers 2v2 tournament. It's really crazy to see how quickly this has gone past, and although we weren't able to cast everything due to technical issues, I mean, we have the privilege of casting this grand finals, and Snowy showing how quickly he's able to just take that ball in. Last game we saw such a long time before goals, but Fallister just getting read by Snowy, and Snowy quickly putting that into the net.
So with game 2 we saw FD scoring the first goal, and they went on losing the match. So who knows, maybe, you know, with them scoring now first, Snowy and Co, it might just result in FD making a comeback here and taking this game. But it's going to be interesting to see, because I think the comeback, the momentum is definitely on hashtag carry's side. And Low, they're missing, or it seems like it was going to miss. I think he actually missed the initial challenge, but the downward shot from Fallister was saved by him. So well done to him for reading that very well.
Definitely so, and Fallister gets a nice pass into MT. He's going to be able to score. Unfortunately, not able to put it into the back of the net. It was very close, very fast play, and he has a counter attack. Could it be a goal? No, unfortunately, missed the load. Just putting it onto the side wall, not able to get it into the back of the net. But Snowy is there. Low almost ready for that pass, and now MT has got the ball on his roof and is not able to make anything of it because he's being pressured by Snowy, who is now pressuring him back in return. MT just going for these cheeky little bumps, and I think this is, like you said, what one of the change of momentum, the change of game style that they need. This could be the change of plan, the change of action, what they need to do to be able to get that equalizer and potentially win the game.
Definitely so, and unfortunately there for them, you know, giving Snowy so much space. So I mean, there's not much MT can do there. His teammate's not back yet after that challenge, and Snowy has his time, all the time in the world, to do with that ball whatever he wants to do. And we know with Snowy's capability, like, he can look at the situation and he can, on a whim, he can decide what he wants to do with the ball. Is he going to flick it? Is he going to fake it? Is he going to just shoot it? And you know, he beats out the defender there, and he makes it 2-0. And I hope not that. I really hope that this isn't like the complete and total breakdown for Fat Dad, that they can really, come back from this, because there's enough time left and they have the opportunities. They must just take them, and then they can definitely be back in this game. It's going to be interesting to see how they react to being 2-0 down after 2 minutes of play.
Definitely so. I'm going to quickly to see how the tension starts to rise. The pressure is definitely on for FD right now, and really excited to see if they can pull this game 3 into the bag. If they can equalize, if they can score another goal, if they can make it 2-2. And it's really unfortunate that this is they're not getting given the space. Snowy and Mr. Low are always on there. They're always challenging. They're always keeping the control. They're not just playing ping pong with the ball. They're taking the chance that they can, and they're making sure that it's that where they place this ball is that exact spot they want it to go.
The one thing that Snowy and Low does well at the moment is, like you say, they're having control of the midfield and of the boost, and that is really taking its toll now on Fallacy and Empty Promises, because maybe they get position and they can't do much with it because they don't have boost, because it's just been taken by Snowy or by Mr. Low. So they're doing really well, Garrett, to really keep the momentum on their side, by really taking control of so many different aspects of the game at the moment.
And you can see the technical prowess coming out, and how disciplined they are to not just take the shot, not just to pass it willy-nilly and maybe try and get it out past the defender, hoping for a mistake from the defender, making sure that they put it into a spot where the defender can't get to, you won't be able to, there would be no return. They'd have to overcommit, which would in turn cost them a goal themselves. So it's really, really nice to see this level of play, and it just goes to show that Snowy's not a grand champ for no reason, and MT is not a bad player either. Neither is Fallacy, neither is Low. These players they're at the grand finals for a reason.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, that this team's name is #Garrett, but even though I would say Snowy is the workhorse currently doing most of the work and stuff, Low is there to support him. He's helping to control the midfield. He's there with good challenges. He's there on defense. He helps to support Snowy, so that's to bring out the best in Snowy, because that's the thing with a player with the capabilities of Snowy. You need to play around his strengths, because he's going to be the main man in your team, and Low is doing that really well.
Well, like you said, he is the workhorse, and it's really, really is there on Low. He's making those saves, he's making those passes, and as I said, that there's another pass coming up from Low, and almost making sure that, almost helping Snowy get a goal there. But it's the pace that these players are playing at. It's really hard to just keep track and to take a second and talk about the strengths that these teams have, because this is constantly back and forth. Here's a shot on goal. Is that going to go into the net? MT takes a very nice, very calculated and very accurate shot into the top left, and just finds a nice, actually powerful shot. Low not ready for it. This could be potentially a comeback. I'm not saying it. We've got 20 seconds left. I'm really excited to see the last few frames of this game.
It's going to be very interesting how this last couple of seconds play out. And we see the Empty going for the bump play, but it doesn't work out, unfortunately for them. And unfortunately for them, Snowy scores. Snowy reaches very well. He sees what he wants to do. He doesn't commit to that immediately. He kind of fakes out the demo, and then, he can capitalize on that. And that was the chance for FD. That was a chance. They had to score there. If they didn't score there, then it was going to be game over. And unfortunately, they didn't score, which means that, most likely it is going to be game, set, and match for #Garrett.
And very, very great grand finals indeed. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see all 5 games, but we got to see 3 awesome games from these two teams that really played their heart out in this 2v2.
Good games from both teams, really showing a lot of skill, a lot of promise. I think Fallacy and Empty Promises can definitely, look at this game and say, what, we did really well. Playing against the players of the caliber of Snowy and Low, and, losing by 1 goal, 2 goals, that is really good. That shows that you were able to keep in the game, and that there are just these small things that you need to work on, that you need to iron out, if you want to do well in, tournaments coming up as well. 2s is a very different game mode to 1s and 3s. We all know that. But it's always enjoyable seeing 2s, because 2s is a very tactical game, and you need to understand yourself and your playstyle, as well as your opponent's playstyle as well. And tonight, Snowy and Mr. Low did that the best. They were the most consistent team over, the span of like a couple of games. But I think Fadab losing to them, twice tonight, they don't have to be sad or angry at themselves. I think they gave a really good account of their skills, and we are very fortunate to have these up and coming players in our scene as well, because we need to have the established people, right? But we need to have these players that are pushing these players, pushing the higher guys, trying to break into the same level as those guys. And I think tonight we are seeing glimpses of that. Maybe not there yet entirely, but getting there, and that's looking promising for 2019.
Absolutely so, and I mean, be sure to catch the VS games. Be sure to stay up to scratch with all the plethora of knowledge that is constantly just. I mean, the Rocket League scene is so informative of what's happening. There's always someone saying something. There's always someone informing, making a post here, writing a blog there. No offense, DF, but there's a lot. There's always information out there. You can always catch up on something that you might have missed. But definitely, I'm really excited for 2019 Rocket League VS gaming. I mean, we definitely, not just in VS gaming, but in SA as a whole, we could definitely see some more tournaments. I mean, with the Mad Gamers, the Raving Mad Gamers tournament, that's really excitement, really good excitement that we could possibly be seeing another event happening next year. When RLX is going to be happening again next year, the six mans, the King of the Hill six mans. It's really excited to see what the players, how much we're going to push them to grow, because you have to. We can't have Snowy be the final boss fight. Yeah, there has to be. Players have to push themselves to be as good, if not better, than Snowy, and it is a monument to climb to get past it. It's an Everest to beat him, but it's not impossible. We saw the previous games that it wasn't a walkover for Snowy, which we have seen in the past. Snowy was able to join the game and win. That was it. There was no contest. Now we're starting to see players not beat Snowy, not outplay Snowy, but give Snowy a run for his money. And that is a very, very exciting thing, but also for Snowy, possibly a very chilling thing to know that his days are numbered. He's not going to be the final boss fight forever. There will come a time where we might see a whole host, a whole dirty dozen of grand champs in South Africa that will all play at their utmost best and all have an unbelievably difficult time beating each other.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Tyrex. I think a lot of people have this mentality where they see people like, you can name them, all the high tier players on the other side of the bracket, and like, oh yeah, no, it's not going to be fun. We're going to lose. What? But I can guarantee you, empty promises and Fallaso, when they saw on the other side of the bracket, we're playing against, Snowy and Low, they were not like, oh, okay, this is game over, GG. Because, I mean, if that's the mentality, why play it all, right? They said, you know what, we're playing maybe the best team, or, in this tournament, the best team, but we're going to give our best. We're playing against the country's best player. It gives an opportunity for ourselves to evaluate ourselves, to meet, and see where are we at the moment. And they did that tonight. And I think looking back at this, if they save these replays and they go through it, and they discuss it together, they look at their own individual mistakes and what they did right, they're going to take so much out of that as well. And like you say, 2019 is going to be a very, very exciting year, I think, for Rocket League in South Africa. I mean, the SA esports scene is growing, it's booming. We see all different organizations becoming part of different esports. We saw now with Bravado doing so well over at DreamHack. SA esports is on the map, ladies and gentlemen, not just locally, but overseas as well. And I'm pretty sure, we're going to see more of these teams entering the consciousness and into the scene, more players, more people, and we're going to push that skill level to be at the level where we can compete with the international guys as a scene. Because at the moment we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys maybe that can do that, and we want more people that will be able to do that. And we need to have these kind of structures, tournaments, not just private matches, but like like you mentioned, VS Gaming, Raving Mad Gamers, RLX, Dominus Gaming, ACGL. I don't want to mention names because then sometimes you forget and you leave someone out. But all these tournament organizers that are stepping up and saying, you know what, we want to do something. We want to push the scene. We want to make it grow. I mean, there was Zoltan now with the ZARP server as well, that he introduced for people to find each other on South African local servers, to be able to play games. People are new, to have friends to play with, that I feel welcomed in the community. We need to do more of that. We need to make people comfortable. The thing with Rocket League, and I've been saying this for a long time, in terms of the South African local scene, we and a game like CSGO and like your Dota's, that makes sense for esports in South Africa, right? Why? Because it's a once-off purchase of a few bucks, maybe 100 rand or so for the game. If you can get it on special, it's like what, 110 rand or something on
Yeah.
Steam. So, I mean, everyone can afford that, right? And once you bought that, then you say you don't have to buy maps, you don't have to buy points, you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. You can just play the game, get your octane and do well, or whatever the core you prefer as well. Okay. And I think this is what is boding well for the future of Rocket League South Africa, is that it's an accessible game. Anyone can watch it and understand it because we all love football. So if you love football, right, this is just football with cars. And I think this is also maybe a reason why Zathanias and Raving Mad Gamers said, you know what, we want to give this a shot. We want to see what it is like. Because I know a lot of people have been asking them, because they're such a big tournament organizer, people have been asking them, you know what, we want to be part, we want to have a Rocket League tournament in your structure. And that's what we are doing with them. So I'm proud to say that, I think this really went well, despite all the technical limitations, despite personal injuries to people, like dislocating shoulders, people swallowing bugs and stuff like that. We had so many stories to tell after tonight. But I think at the end of the day, we come back to this point where every time we host a tournament, we can just see the growth. We can just see the skill level being pushed. We can just see people having fun. Yes, we can't make everyone happy. Yes, we can't, cater for every single person's speciality or what they want. But if we cater for enough people and, as a scene, and we can deliver to the best of our ability, despite our technical and whatever limitations they are, I'm looking really forward to 2019. It's going to be a very interesting year. And like I said, what, this was just a tester. Now you guys saw what Raving Mad Gamers are, who they are, what they do, how they do it. Hopefully with RLX, I'm sure that we can just give a shout out, to Inquisitor, who is again, helping out with the stream and stuff. Obviously, I want to give a huge shout out to Tarox as well for, casting with me, and he's been doing it now for a couple of times. And I really appreciate, like his communication skills, his insight into the game is also, I think, really wonderful and easy to cast with. And I hope the people watching this, can take a lot of insight into this. But at the end of the day, it's a community that make this. We need to work together. We can't each one do our own thing or pull in different directions, right? We need to work together. And that's why I was saying, like with RLX now, we're teaming up with like different organizations, like with Raving Mad Gamers. So next year, hopefully, we will have some more concrete details for you guys on that, big tournament that we are arranging with Raving Mad Gamers, where, it's going to be an online tournament that's going to culminate in like a semi-final and final live LAN event at the R Gaming Center. But yeah, more details on that later.
I mean, I hope you had your pen and paper ready, because it's amazing. With all you can see the passion that you have there for this community and for this game and the future of this game, and it really is something to awe at, because it's not often that you get to see something like that. But I don't want to keep everyone out of a lovely evening of Rocket League. There's a lot of time left in the night, so go ahead, grab yourself something to drink, something to eat, hop back onto Rocket League, go onto the Zarp servers, go find a random game to join, go play some private games, and just have fun. That's all it's about at the end of the day. We all want to have fun. Everyone here wants to grow, and everyone here wants to be better, but we should never lose sight of the bigger picture, is to have fun.
Yeah, I definitely agree with your Tarox. Thanks so much, guys, for watching as well. I really appreciate that. Again, thanks to Tarox and Inquisitor for helping me with the broadcast. All the guys in the background, just quickly shout out as well. I want to thank like Cool Guy with always arranging and helping with like the overlays and all the details. He's very quick on that. He's very dedicated, and I love working with him. Shout out to Watty, Samurai Watty. He played tonight as well, but initially, he was also helping out behind the scenes. And I didn't even ask him. He came to me and he said, "You know what, DF, I want to help out." And I was like, "Dude, that's awesome. I want people that have that drive, that passion for the community, to hang out, to play, to be part of the scene." And obviously as well to Lazy, was also in the background with us. Really appreciated, man. You also hanging out and chilling with us. Also a shout out to the owner of Raving Mad Gamers, Zathanias. Working
Yes.
with him now has been a pleasure. You can see, so he is also passionate and drive for the community. And Raving Mad Gamers are quite big. They're not just interested in Rocket League. They have a wide variety of games that they cater to as well. And I'm sure we're going to see much more of them as well in 2019 as they have big plans. But yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for bringing this tournament together, helping me, and I'm sure it went really well.
And I think we're going to close with that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for the Raving Mad Gamers 2v2 tournament that was held and also co-held by RLX. I keep forgetting to add that, but I won't forget for the final time. Co-hosted by RLX, and it's a really awesome tournament. We did see hashtag carried winning, taking the W, taking the grand finals in a very comfortable fashion, but not an extremely comfortable fashion. And yeah, I mean, it's from myself, Tyrox, and from DF. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you guys have an awesome evening, and we'll see you guys soon in some private games.